Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie room. Now we are on day 6 of our outside room build and it is flying along. It really is. We got off to a good start first thing in the morning, and then of course we did end up coming into a bit of rain and it absolutely poured down, which held the guys back a little bit. So we ended up calling it quits after that. So what we done first thing in the morning is we got all the front noggins and bits and pieces done. We got the fascia up on the front of the building, bits and pieces like that. And then the following day, we cracked out the floor. So without further ado, let's pop over and see how we all got on. I'll see you soon. Well, here we are on day 5. And as you can see there, the boys are just finishing up putting the noggins in the front section of the building, and this is what's going to create the fascia for our overhang. Time for a quick coffee, bit of a natter. Lovely sunny day again today. So yeah, it's important we get all these noggins put in now, and this will give us our perimeter edge to the roof, which is where we're hoping to get soon enough. We've ordered all of the rubber, so we are now just waiting on that getting to us. So it's time to do some of the little snagging jobs, all the little bits and pieces that have been missed out. We can get back to now, sort those out, and if we can, we can crack on with the roof as well today, which is the plan. As you see, everyone's happy and smiley today, which I must say has been the case every day so far. We've had a good laugh as we've gone along, and it's been a real nice pleasure to be out here. Like I say, I've had to take 2 weeks off work just to make sure that because it's got no access to the place, so we need to be at home so that we can open up the front of the house so that we can get in and get on. And as you can see there, we've still got quite a few materials kicking around, bits and pieces. So now what we're doing now is, on his way in this morning, Tucker went out and bought the fascias. Now this is a black fascia that we're putting on here now, and it's really going to finish the front of the building off. It's going to make it look really smart, and it's quite an easy thing to do. These are they're all like a foam covered plastic. I'm not sure what you would call it. It's a very lightweight, modern material, and it literally does just sort of clip on the edge of the wood, and then there's these tiny little tacks that are used to fix it to the wood as well, to make sure that everything is sturdy and in place. So he's putting up the front ones now. Now these go all the way around the building, so everywhere there's an edge to that roof will be covered in this this material here. Now obviously you can see there's going to be a join because they don't do lengths long enough, so we need to cut a piece to actually fit in there. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what we do, there will always be points where we will end up having to have joins of some description somewhere. So it's one of those necessary evils we cannot escape from. But nevertheless, there is a little tiny bracket that will actually seal that join up, so we don't actually see it, and so it sort of like hides it away. And it's, to be fair, there you go, he's just put it on there now, and to be fair, you don't really notice it. It's not the end of the world. but I think you'll agree that has actually transformed the front of this build. Now, as you'll still see, underneath is still open, and we are going to have a black trim that will go underneath there, and that will end up holding our downlights. We want to put some downlights in just to make it look a little bit better, take away the harshness of it. So we're hoping to put some downlights in, which will be a case for the electrician. There you go. That is that front in. Time to get around the sides. Now, Tucker's putting a corner piece on there now. He's just measuring it out, just checking, make sure it's okay. And the weather was starting to turn a little bit, and here it comes, rain. Now our roof is still just a wooden roof. So Tucker's nipped up there quickly, open up a big tarpaulin, and we can look at trying to cover that roof up. Mad rush now, trying to get all the tools in. It's actually starting to come down pretty heavy now. And yeah, not what we wanted, because we were hoping to start putting the rubber roof down. So a little bit annoying, but that is the case, that is what it is. It is what it is. So that's everything sort of covered now, and hopefully it didn't get too wet. We'll bung a bit of wood up there to hold it down. Now, unfortunately for us, this rain did not hold off. It just kept coming and coming and coming, and yeah, it just got heavier and heavier, and so it's now covered. It didn't get any better, and as you can see, it soaked absolutely everything in no time at all. There's the boys that are still smiling, but yeah, we ended up calling it quits. This was around about 2:30, something like that, in the afternoon. So we ended up calling it quits. There just weren't much more we could do in this sort of weather, unfortunately. So here we are, the following day, day 6, and we're back inside. So now what we're going to do is, hopefully today we will be looking at the roof and also the floor inside the shed. So you can see John is now pouring out the glue, ready for the Celotex, which will be laid on the floor. Now, as you can see there, we've already laid the base ply on the floor, and it's now time to put the Celotex down. So the Celotex is going to be laid on top, and then we are going to board on top of the Celotex, exactly the same way that we done the roof. You remember when we discussed about having what they call a cold roof, and this should, in theory, give us the same effect as the roof, and also help out for when we end up having really hot days in the summertime, and also when it's really, really cold, it will retain that heat. This is the plan, and Tucker's assured us that it will actually be beneficial. It's going to make a massive difference. So there you go. John's putting down more and more of the Celotex. It will also actually stiffen up the floor as well. Now the floor is already solid because of the beams running underneath. It's actually solid anyway, but this will just stiffen it up that little bit more, and it also means that we lose around about 3 inches in height in the room, and you can see there from where John's moving around, we lose a little bit of height because of the thickness of the Celotex and also the boards. You know, it makes quite a difference. So we're getting that on there now. It doesn't, as you can see, there you go, John doing a bit more advertising. There's all our internal insulation. That all needs to be moved over to the other side so that we can crack on and do the end that the camera is standing on. Now what we've gone for here, the internal insulation, you can see that pile of it there, we've gone for Actis insulation, which is a really cool, fairly new insulation, and all the trades are really impressed by this stuff. So we've decided we are going to use it here, and it is a phenomenal stuff. And I can't wait until we can actually start putting it in the walls, and you'll see just how effective and how quick this stuff can be as well. So much easier than Celotex. Celotex, when you're cutting Celotex, it's rather messy, and we've been cutting it outside because we didn't want any of the mess on the inside, because we want to try and keep everything as dust free as possible, so that when we glue it all down, it actually stays where we put it. The last thing you want to do is put glue on dusty areas. It just doesn't stick very well. So as you can see there now, we're actually cracking on now. It's really going well. Now this whole can of glue actually managed to do to glue the Celotex on the roof and also on the inside, which is pretty good, because that can, if I remember, I think Tucker said that was about 75 quid for that can of glue. And this is quite often where it catches you out. You know, it's the little bits and pieces like that. You don't necessarily think of, you know, 70 odd pound for a can of glue. So luckily we managed to get the roof and the floor done out of that whole can. There'd have been nothing worse than having to buy another one at 70 odd pound and only using a small amount of it, because we wouldn't have had use for it anywhere else. So yeah, it's quite an expensive thing. So we're cutting the last bit. Now obviously there's going to be a couple of little joins in the Celotex on the floor. Again, like we said about this with the front trim, we cannot get away from that. There is always going to be a join somewhere. So what we try and do is we try and spread our joins out so they're not all in the same place. Or if we do have joins, we can have them where it's just not going to be that bad. So as you can see there, there's one sheet gone in there. So there's a little tiny strip right along that front edge, which we can lose that because our racking will cover up the vast majority of that, and all we'll have is a tiny little bit in the actual foot of the door, which won't make any difference to us whatsoever. So there you go, that is all the Celotex in. He's literally just got this little edge to put through, which won't take very long at all. We also try to lay everything down so that there is the minimal of cuts, which means we have the minimal of waste. It's very important that we get the very most out of all of the materials, especially the sheet materials and any of the lengths of timber. We have had absolutely hardly any wastage really on the timbers. I think there was probably enough to, if we put it all together, we probably only had one length of timber that was actually wastage. It's very good. That obviously saves you a huge amount of money as well as you're going along, which is always nice. There you go. That looks like the last little piece in there now. So that is the Celotex down. And don't it look different? It really transforms it. And it's hard to explain, but the actual feel of the room is very different. Once that Celotex has gone in, it's really sort of, I don't know, it soundproofs it as well, so it makes it a little bit quieter in there. It's strange the way it actually, the feeling it gives you. Makes it feel so different. Now John's actually laying down the foil tape now, so he's going to tape up all of the joins on the Celotex. This will also help, along with the glue, to stop things moving around, bits and pieces. Also as well, it seals it off as well, so we don't have any gaps. Should we ever, unfortunately, I don't know, maybe have a flood in there or something like that, all these little bits will help it to stop any water entering down and getting down into the timber below, making that rot out. So it's all good stuff. It all holds it all together. So we're going to get these few bits and pieces in, get them all done up. As you can see there's almost a full length there. So we'll get that tied down and taped up. I do like this foil tape. I use a lot of this foil tape on the enclosures as well. It's great stuff for sticking anything down, and when you want to finish and you want to take it up, it actually comes away really nicely as well. So it's a really clean tape, which is what I like. I also use it for sticking heat mats to wooden shelves and things like that. It's ideal. It's really good stuff, much better than any of the other tapes that I've used. And like I say, it's absolutely clean as well. You can put it down and it don't make a mess. It's brilliant around strip lights and things like that, because I can literally stick it to the underside of a shelf, then put my strip light up on there, and it will reflect the light tenfold. It's really good stuff. So you can end up using smaller lights, which are using less energy and less power, but the foil tape is making that light travel a whole lot further, and you can do a lot more. John enjoying a well-deserved cup of coffee there. Going to get the last few bits taped up. There you go, you can see it nicely now. Now Tucker's come in now just to blow away any dust or whatever, anything that's in there. We can just clear that area. This has been really good. He keeps everything really clean. So as you can see now, we're now putting down the sheet supply. And as you well may have noticed, we're running the sheet supply the opposite direction to how we put the Celotex down. So the Celotex is running along the back lengthways, and the sheet supply are now going to run down the other way. And as you can see there now, he is actually crossing them over. So it's more like a jigsaw puzzle, and this will aid in keeping it all really tight and solid. There you go, they're all going down nicely. You notice we don't need to glue this one down, and that is because these will be screwed down into the actual floor joists. So what the boys are doing now is they're just doing a chalk line so they know where the joists are running. Keep it nice and easy, and they can screw directly down into those joists. So that will go through the board, through the Celotex, through the board underneath, and into the joists in the floor. And that will tie this whole thing and keep it all nice and tight. Nothing will be moving. It will be absolutely solid. Now he's just cut the strips in to go in that little piece there. I've got a little portable light because it's actually got a little bit darker in here now. You get a little idea of the space now. That was John moving the camera. We're now up the other end. It's going to be time to move all the insulation again. Get it all down the other way. Just working out where they're going to go. That's it. Tucker's actually starting to screw the floor down. As you can see there, he's already done the bit that's off camera. And John is moving all the insulation. Get it out of the way so we can get the remaining boards down to cover this floor. And once the boards went down, again, it changed how it feels. There you go, we're blowing all the dust out the door again. Get rid of that, we don't want all of that. You can see there now how they've staggered the boards again. And by doing it this way, it means that there shouldn't be a join of timber on a join of Celotex. So they're all staggered different ways. And that's what helps to give us a solid feeling floor. Now once this wooden floor is down and we've plasterboarded inside, we will eventually probably use carpet tiles on the floor, and we will probably go for like the carpet tiles that you see in offices. They're a commercial tile, so they're very hard wearing, and it will be just the ticket for a room like this. It's going to end up getting a little bit of abuse. So that is our floor in. Now we didn't have time to do the roof, so the roof is to come, and this is it all fixed down. It's really starting to take some shape, and we're starting to get a feel of what the end product is going to be. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little installment and you see a little bit more about how the construction of this thing goes ahead. Very exciting times. Well, like I was saying, the first day, it started off well. The weather weren't too bad at all, and then it bucketed down. Now obviously we still haven't got the rubber roof on, and we were sort of hoping to do that today, but the problem with that was it never arrived. So that is hopefully coming tomorrow, and we can crack on with that. But of course, with the weather turning bad as it was, you saw the boys that ended up running in for cover, hiding inside the building, and we put a tarpaulin all over the top to try and protect the wood, because the last thing we want to do is put the rubber roof down on top of wet boards. We don't want to seal that moisture in, so it's important that we keep it as dry as possible. So the top went up, and they basically carried on with the front of the building, got that all done, and then we decided enough's enough, let's just call it quits for today. So the boys had a nice early day, and yeah, we had to wait until the following day. Now as you saw in the video there, the next day was much better, and so the plan was, the rubber roof still hadn't arrived, so the plan was to actually crack out and do the floor. Now you would have seen in the building we already had our floor in place, but then we had to insulate that and then board on top. So we insulated it using Celotex, and which is the same as what we used on the roof, and we used exactly the same procedure as the roof. So now we've got Celotex all down on the floor, and we've also boarded on top of the Celotex. You would have seen there that we glued the Celotex down into the floor as well, the same as we did the roof. It's important that these boards don't move around, and it just makes life a little easier. And then when we put the final boards on top of the Celotex, we screwed directly through to the boards underneath into the joists, and that held everything nice and secure. So that is now all the perimeter edges of the building is pretty much up. We are just waiting on that rubber roof, and hopefully that will be there by the end of play today, and then we can make a start on it the following day. So I hope you're enjoying these build videos. We are waiting on the electrician. We've been let down with the electrician. Unfortunately he couldn't make it, rather short notice, which doesn't help us at all, but hey, that's the way it goes. We have now got to sort something else out. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, so we are now just at the point where we can do the roof, and we are waiting on the electrician. So until next time, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, if I don't die of this fly in my throat. See you soon, guys.